Hello, welcome once again to Pale Blooms and Beyond. Thank you for joining us today. If you do like the programming you see here and musicians and artists that I visit with, please be sure and hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Matt Dangerfield is an English singer, songwriter, guitarist, and founding member of UK punk band The Boys. The band was formed in London in 1976 and came of age along with contemporaries, the Sex Pistols, Clash, and The Damned. The Boys were the first UK punk band to sign a record contract in 1977. The original lineup was Matt, guitar vocals, Casino Steel, keyboards, Honest John Plain, rhythm guitar, Kid Reid bass, and Jack Black drums. And no, not the comedian or the actor Jack Black, different one. Over the career of the band, there have been 5 studio albums, a multitude of singles, several live albums, and compilations. The Yobs were the band's alter ego, giving a punk slant to Christmas songs as well as a few of their own seasonal compositions. Later in the 80s, Matt would play with the band Mirrors, releasing an album in 1983 and a 1988 album as The Management. Recent years have seen a limited edition special vinyl re-releases and digital singles from The Boys, and the band is currently working on a new album. Well, welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Good to be
here. I'm glad on both ends we got the technical problems worked out. Well, take us back to the beginning. Were you born in London?
No, I was born in Yorkshire.
Okay, all right. How far is that from London?
About 2 or 3 hour drive.
Okay, it's not real close. Okay, all right.
I was going down to London a lot,
Okay.
I never went back.
Is that right? Well, of course, back then, and then even years before you guys got together, the place to go to make it was London. If you really wanted to get a recording contract. Well, do you recall your early childhood growing up? Like, was there music in the house?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
My parents loved music, so listened to all their rock and roll stuff. The early rock and roll, I should say. Yeah, and plus they were antique dealers, so quite often we get house clearances where we'd get a gramophone with
man,
jazz selection or whatever. And so I remember a competition with my brother about. I made our top 10. Dizzy Gillespie was number 1.
Oh, that would be great. I would have loved that, having my parents dealing in antiques like that.
But then again, it would, that record collection would suddenly disappear the next day. So it's all fleeting. That included musical instruments.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Well, you try to play.
You said you had a brother. Did you have other siblings?
Yeah, 2 sisters.
Okay. Would you?
My brother also played guitar and piano.
Oh, did he? Okay. Is he older or younger?
He's about a year and a half older.
Oh, okay. Would you listen to his records? Would he kind of pass them down, or?
Yeah, well, he was a songwriter,
and
he was what inspired me to write songs.
Okay.
He wrote songs. He was never in a band or anything, but he always, like other people, would do his songs.
Okay. Were either one of your parents musically inclined at all?
Not really. They liked music.
They were fans. Okay. All right. Yeah. I remember listening to my dad's hi-fi. I remember growing up early, and where you could stack the 78s. 3 or 4 of them on there, and they would drop down and play. And yeah, I remember that very well. Well, let me ask you this then. Can you remember one of the first singles or albums that you got yourself?
First album I bought myself was Hard Day's Night.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you ever get to see them live?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, to my shame, because they were available. I remember seeing a lot, because there used to be these great tours when I was growing up that had, 5 or 6 top bands, all playing 20 minutes. you know, and you know, in one evening you'd see like I don't know, the Kings, the Small Faces, you know, the Who, whatever, you know. So it was great. Plus, after that, I lived right next to Leeds University, and the university used to have sort of brilliant sort of like, you know, when, for instance, when Led Zeppelin came out with their first album, nobody could afford to put them on. They become so big, but Leeds University could.
They could.
They had student union fees that they could make a loss on, you know. So
Wow.
the Leeds University was, you know, saw lots of people there.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Did you see the new documentary on Zeppelin? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
I don't know if it's come out there yet. I talked to a couple of guys from across the pond. They said it hadn't been released there yet, but maybe now.
Okay.
It was a little disappointing. I was hoping it would go through the whole band, like through the 70s. It only takes it through like the second album, I believe. You know,
Oh, right. Okay.
It's basically how they got started. You know.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Well, what were some? Was the guitar the first instrument you picked up to play? Is that from your
Yes.
brother? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And it's nice to have a brother to help instruct you.
Well, when he got a new guitar, he started
Mhm.
off with a Spanish guitar, and he got
Oh, is that right? I love the sound of the Spanish guitar.
he used to teach me bass lines, so
Yeah.
he could, like, you know, pop hits. You know.
Yeah. So you guys kind of play together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Did you ever think about forming a band together, or ever talk about that?
Not together, no. No.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Because we were kind of sort of separate. You know, he went to university, I went to art college. We just sort of drifted apart, but not always kept in touch and
Right.
stayed. You know, but like lived. You know, I was living in London. He was living in for a time in Ireland when he was doing his PhD or whatever. You know, so you know we didn't see each other very often.
You stayed close from a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. Well, can you recall one of the first live show or concert that you went to, that you attended?
First, I don't know, because there were so many.
Well, one of the first, maybe.
Yeah, I remember seeing what really impressed me. I saw the Small Faces, and they were on a bill with you know, one of those bills with 5 or 6 bands, like the Yardbirds and, you know,
Yeah.
Kinks and all that. One thing I noticed about the Small Faces, that because it was like Odeon, you know, huge stage, you know, with these tiny PA speakers, columns, one at each side of the stage, you know, like you know, really not a very good sound on stage, I'm sure. You know, there's no
Yeah.
monitor.
Right.
So everybody was sort of spread out on these big stages. But the Small Faces set up like close together, like they were in like a pub.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So they could hear each other, you know. And
Right.
they were, you know, that impressed me. You know.
Right. That they got to. I mean, they took their name literally. Small. I like the story about how they all wanted, you know, be about the same height. You know, no tall members. Yeah.
Just for photographs.
Right, right. You can see that in there. Well, yeah, I was always jealous of growing up of you guys across the pond, because you would, like you said, I mean, have like live shows, live concerts just about every night. You know, depending on where you went. You know, but we here, it's just few and far between. You know, it's always been that way. Well, talk a little bit about the music scene coming up around you as a teenager.
So it was, yeah, it was because I went through a, you know, a time when I was, you know, learning to play guitar of blues, you know, because blues was taking off, you know, like it was taking off. I'm trying to think, it must be like the late '60s, you know, so it was coming, you know, like Peter Green and
Oh, Peter Green, one of my idols.
still my favorite guitarist of all time.
Is that right? Yeah, early Fleetwood Mac, just some
Yeah.
stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, you know, I mean, the Fleetwood Mac that most people knows, yeah, it's not
And it's not even close. Right. Yeah.
I'll never forgive them for that, you know, because
Right, right. Exactly. And the thing to me was, I mean, he had those, like you said, the real blues oriented tracks, but then he had like Man of the World,
yeah,
and of course Albatross,
yeah,
which were just, beautiful, beautiful tracks. So anyway,
yes,
yeah,
mm,
yeah. Well, that's great that you were,
yeah.
big fan as well. I don't know if you were you into Straubs at all, the folk rock?
So,
Yes,
uh,
Straubs.
yeah, I knew about them. Yeah, I
Okay.
was.
Did you hear that Dave Cousins just passed away?
Oh no, all right, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I mean it's been real recent. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, it just
there's
happened.
so many people passing away that it's like, you know,
It wasn't even on his Wikipedia. It didn't announce it, but if you look a little bit deeper, yeah, he did.
okay, yeah.
So anyway, that was a band that I followed. Yeah. Well, who were some other musical influences for you?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you have you heard of like Top of the Pops? That was
Yes.
a pop show. It was every Wednesday at like 7:30, and you must watch it because that's the only place you could see, these bands, on TV, and so you made it, you were always really pissed off if you missed it or
Yeah.
after work day, or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, where was I going? Oh yeah, I remember like a highlight was seeing Jimi Hendrix
Oh yes,
on
yes.
that show, and it's like just like you'd never seen anybody like that before. The way
Right.
he played, right? It was sort of like yeah. I mean, it's because I was into blues music, so I was listening to a lot of black music. To see a black guy playing this, hard rock, if you like, was like wow, that's a that's that kind of brought me back to rock and roll, if you like.
Yeah. 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 And then
Plus,
a little bit.
like Top of the Pops, the only there was so much sort of Philadelphia funk and all that going on that
Right.
there was like there was not much rock on there, so it was status quo. Were the only rock band that you ever saw on Top of the Pops at this sort of period, So I was
Yeah.
into them in
Right. Oh yes, that was another one of mine that yeah, enjoyed early on. Not the pictures of Matchstick Man. I mean that was nice poppy stuff, but they're later. Yeah, they're
yeah.
they're later. Yeah, later.
When they played from the heart, it was like boogie
Right.
woogie.
Yeah. And then a little bit later, you mentioned the black, Jimi Hendrix. Of course, he wasn't a guitarist, but Phil Lennett, Thin Lizzy, you
Yeah,
know,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, bridging that gap, there
Well,
too.
I met Phil Lynott
Oh,
before
oh,
he
oh,
met,
did
you know,
you?
when,
Okay.
when I was in Ireland with one of my early bands,
Yeah.
because it all started at art college. Some guy leaving art college when I had started my first year. So I said, does anybody want to buy a bass guitar and an amp? And I
Yeah.
just got my, like money for
Yeah.
survive on. So that I go, okay, so I so the sort of classroom, there was like this bass guitar and amp just standing there. And somebody passed it and said, oh, whose is this? And I said, mine.
Uh-huh.
Do
Yeah.
you want to join a band? I go, okay.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah.
so I started off playing bass,
Okay. Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
which,
I want to say real recent. I was watching. I don't know. I was kind of in this groove watching documentaries on YouTube, and I saw the one about Thin Lizzy, and his mother, Philomena, right?
yeah,
She would tour with him, like when they came to the States. I mean, she would actually travel.
well,
I don't know if it was the whole life of the band, maybe early on or
yeah.
certain part, but yeah, she would be, like, well, I was in the hotel room, and then he was in the next room, and I thought, wow, okay, they were kind of close, I guess, so
Well,
interesting.
when I first met him with this early band when I was playing bass,
Yeah,
only to find out that it was a guy, the drummer, was
yeah,
like had just started learning drums, but he'd been in a car accident. Somebody had knocked him down in the street, so he got fair bit of money. So he bought, you know, like he found a keyboard player and bought him an organ. He found a guitar player, bought him an electric guitar.
Yeah.
But this guitar player could only play, he'd only played Spanish guitar.
Yeah.
But it turned out I was a better, you know, guitar player, much better than him for blues, you know.
Right.
So, so we swapped. So, you know, but we did a couple of gigs. We did that Escape to the Country thing, you know. That,
Okay. Okay. Yes.
So we went to Ireland.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because the keyboard player in the band had some Irish fans.
Oh,
So we found in the middle of nowhere. We found a place. You know, it's so many stories because like it's when we arrived, you know, we were in the middle of Ireland, in the middle of nowhere, and we saw this sort of like a village hall type thing by us side of the road that looked like it was covered in ivy and nobody used it for years. And we asked this nearest neighbour, you know, an Irish kind of farmer, you know, who does this belong to? He said, "Oh, the church, you know, up the road, you know." So we went up the road, drove up to the church, but at the same time as some other thing happening, like some other people coming in. It was a new priest coming to take over. So we arrived at the same time.
At the same time.
And they thought we were part of his entourage.
Is that right?
So we were all invited in and given glasses of wine. And
is that right? Is that right?
we became friends with the priest. You know, he said, "Yeah, you can rehearse and all that." You know, because it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But his one condition is that we had to sing in the Sunday choir.
Oh, oh no.
But that wasn't too bad because he picked you know, like some songs like Bob Dylan's "God on Our Side," things that, you know, were kind of modern but slightly, you know, religious sounding at least.
Yeah. So that wasn't a big sacrifice. Okay, that's
so
good.
one of the gigs we did in Ireland was in Dublin, you know, and we supported the band that Lennett was in as a singer, you know, not playing bass. And he was the only black guy we ever met in Dublin. You know, I mean, because you mentioned his mother, you know, I'm sure she was white.
Yes.
Yeah. And the only way you could get into Ireland in those days was to be born in Ireland.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, that's right.
But the father, you know, father was somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, did you ever find out if his father lived in Ireland? Right.
See that in that documentary, they went talking to one guy, and he said, "Yeah, I mean, because they stood out. I mean, you didn't see black.
He stood a mile, you know.
Yeah, plus he's
good looking as well.
Yeah, pretty tall and good.
He was very popular with the girls.
Oh, I imagine so.
But well, I heard that he got sacked from that band.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and because they didn't think he was a good enough singer.
Right.
You know, but he was advised by one of the bands, you know, take up bass, it's the easiest, you know. Like,
yes.
So he took up bass, but carried on singing, and that became Thin Lizzy. You know.
Right. And then that early with Eric Bell, the guitarist. Right. That was a nice documentary to watch. Well, back to the boys. How did you guys form? How did you guys get together?
Well, I was in a band called the London SS.
Okay.
You know, with Mick Jones, who eventually, you know, well, no, it was the London SS. I was here with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't very good on guitar at that time. You know, and we were playing around, and we had Bernie Rhodes as a manager, who ended up managing the Clash.
Yes.
But we had an audition. There was a band called the New York, the Hollywood Brats.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, who died recently as well. Yeah. And had a book out that's been very popular called Sick on You, which is had rave reviews all over the place. But anyway, he came along with Casino Steel, who ended up in the boys, and they wanted me. They said, "We don't want, you know, Mick Jones or any of those guys, you know, but we want you." You know? And I was thinking, because I'd heard their album, and it was, you know, I'd liked it, you know, because it an early punk influence.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Mick Jones was influenced by it, and lots of other people. You know, so I joined them and left 10cc. But then Andrew, who was the singer, went back to Canada, where he was from,
Okay.
Christmas, and then never returned. You know,
Never came back. Okay.
so Cat and I just said, "Look, let's start, start a band together." So, and that ended up as the Boys.
Oh, well, see that had to be a real boost to your confidence that they wanted you, like you said.
Yeah, and also, Cass was a good songwriter, so I ended up, writing a lot of songs together with him. We were, when we started, we were rolling out, a song every day almost, So, we had a great songwriting partnership. So that was the basis of the Boys.
The genesis. Well, were you guys, all the members, pretty much into the same kind of bands or similar influences?
No, not at all.
Oh no, not at all. Okay.
I mean, even Cass, who'd been in the Hollywood Brats, and Andrew, they didn't want, they didn't want to do their punky stuff because they'd been there and done that.
Okay.
Be very, and then they released one record which sold hardly anything. Was unheard of by most people.
Yeah.
So they wanted to move on from that. Whereas after Andrew left to Canada and didn't come back, I could cast that this punk thing is going to take off.
Yes.
So we recruited, like Honest John was my friend from Art College back in Leeds. So he just played guitar, so I got him, and to join, and he didn't know what punk was. He liked
really.
Duncan and Jack. They came together they played in the school band together, drums and bass. I remember Duncan. Early days of the band. He came round to my place. And go, I've just bought the new Genesis album. No stereo, because I had a good stereo system. Fuck off,
So he was more into that prog.
The drummer was into
prog. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
So it was me pushing the punk thing all the way.
Okay.
I had a feeling it was going to be big.
Yeah. Well, another Jones, Barry Jones. Who was Barry, and how did the two of you work some magic in interior design?
In what you mean, our studio?
Yeah.
We had a basement flat which had I don't know if you ever have it in America, but a coal hole.
Okay.
Where it was out in the street, but would drop down into your cellar.
Yeah.
So they put bags of coal down there, but that gone out of fashion. So, but there's still a coal hole there with no coal in it. So we turned that into a soundproof studio. Because you could play loud and wouldn't disturb all your neighbours because it was, just underground. Yeah. And to be honest, Barry did most of the work.
Okay. All right.
I helped him as much as I could, but we made and we bought like this the first TIAC, the first 4-track 1/4-inch tape machine where you could overdub onto 4 tracks. And that was like the very first of its kind.
Yeah.
So that's what. So we became a bit of a centre for the scene, if you like.
Yes. Well, did he have a little bit of engineering background or anything like that?
Yeah. No, neither of us had.
Okay.
Just
you just kind of did it.
Just knob twiddling.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes that's the best way,
Yeah.
Well, as a result, who were some of the musicians that would frequently visit the space, the studio?
All the early bands, all the early punk bands, the Damned, Pistols, everybody. The Generation X. Yeah, there was a lot of recordings done. which we never released. I, we never. Somebody took all the tapes.
Oh,
and I assumed that if they took them as they valued them, they would have been bootlegged by now. But they haven't. So I think somebody had just stolen the tapes to record over.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh,
yeah, I know. Because every all those bands recorded stuff in there.
Yeah.
Even Johnny Thunders,
Yes.
So but I can only think somebody, or it's either just still sat in somebody's attic, or,
right.
but
collecting.
or it was being recorded over.
Yeah, they probably did. Oh wow, yeah. Well, you imagine you guys had a lot of practice sessions there to hone your craft.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah. Well, the first live show was at London's Hope and Anchor in October of '76. Do you recall the show?
Oh yeah.
Well, how was the turnout?
It was good. It was like half full, but and half the people that were there we knew, so they were like guys from other bands.
Right. I hear that. Yeah, you go see a show and you see other bands there. Yeah, or bands would come to your show. Yeah.
But we there was what we had was called the pub rock circuit.
Yeah.
Which is where you'd play in a pub, which had a stage, and people were not paid to go in. They just so you played for free basically, or you got paid peanuts. But there was a big scene, and we that was the only thing available to us, so we went on it, and about the first 3 or 4 gigs, it was like the landlord would pay us the money and tell us fuck off and never come back. You're the worst band we've ever seen.
Is that
and how quickly things changed. Sure, because I remember the same thing happened when we played at a place called Dingles, which is a kind of bigger club, playing the sport act. And I remember the DJ sort of saying, after we'd finished playing, because and he would say he was playing records before he did that. He said, "That's the worst band we've ever had in this venue." And things happen so quickly that number one, we got the NME were there and they gave us a rave review.
Yeah.
Number two, a record company was there that gave us a record deal.
Right.
And about a month later, we were headlining at the same place, Dingles.
Isn't that funny?
Same DJ said, and it's the welcome return of the Warriors.
It's like then they changed their tune, right? Yeah. Isn't that something? The timing of that too, you were there right at the cusp, right when it first started, the punk movement, and maybe a little too early for some people. So it was
because you had a bit of that in the recording studios as well, because you have this recording engineer who could play better guitar than you, he was like horrified at having to do with these basic musicians.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, can you remember any of the other live shows? Like, did you play on the same bill as some, notable bands or open for bigger name acts?
Yeah, we did. The acts that really changed things for me was Johnny Sunders.
Okay.
Heartbreakers, when they came to London and they played at this, at the time, the only punk club where punk bands played every night. And they came from, we knew it was, from the New York Dolls, but they were so professional on stage that it gave us all, I think, who saw them a kick up the arse. Because we expected, shambles like, New York Dolls, but they were totally professional. They didn't stay professional as they got.
They didn't. No.
The drugs. But at that first arrival, they blew us all away. We knew we had to step up a gear.
Oh, okay. David just passed away too, didn't he? David. Yeah. And then you mentioned earlier about the damn Brian James, another one that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you said that before we started when we in the beginning. Yeah, it's that's why I gotta talk to you guys when I can, right?
Yeah.
Before it's too late. Well, what were the circumstances leading up to the band signing with NEMS?
It was that gig at the, also the Cass, yeah, Cass and Andrew Matheson had when they were in the Hollywood Brass,
Yeah.
they knew NEMS.
Okay.
I only knew NEMS because they were like number one. They were Brian Epstein's company.
Right.
I've forgotten which North End musical stores or whatever.
What it stood for, yeah.
Beat the Beatles, Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed it on, or somebody else had bought it and took it over, and they'd released or they'd managed, Andrew and Cass in the Brats, so they came along to see us, and they offered us an album recording contract. We were the first punk band to get an album.
Right. Again, you were the first. Yeah.
So and it was this time when we were running out of places to play because people were saying you're the worst band which coincided with them coming along to that first Dingwalls gig where the DJ had said that.
Yeah.
We were thinking, but they were a good live agency.
Yeah.
They've never heard of them as a record company, but we knew they were a live agency. So I thought, well, if we sign with them, at least we'll get gigs, So,
Right.
So
right. That did work out. Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk briefly the early albums, some of my favorite tracks, and maybe get your recollection, any inspiration behind them, just memories, motivation, what have you. Well, from the first one, the '77 album, I like Tonight. I wish it was longer. It's a little too short. It's like it has you wanting more. It's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a plus because what I liked about like you listen to Chuck Berry tracks, they're all 2 minutes.
Yeah,
20
sure.
minutes, and so you have to play it again and again. 'Cause
Right.
I remember my neighbours. It's like two teenage girls. When they came on with a new record, they would play it over and over again, and then the B-side over and over again. And, be driving their parents mental.
Yeah. Right.
So it's short and sweet. I mean, the other thing about that is because we had all the songs, but the only thing that influenced us by the Ramones was
Okay.
beat. So
Very short. Yeah.
we had all the songs, but we just sped it up.
Okay.
So it became shorter in that way.
Okay. Well, let me ask you too, before I go into any more of the tracks, do you recall the recording sessions for the first album? How those went?
Yeah, it was done in a couple of days. So it was like, I mean, I remember I was, writing lyrics in the taxi to the studio, we put down.
Were they done pretty much live, or were there many overdubs? Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty live. Okay. So Depressing. I like the dual vocals on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And here's my favorite, probably of the whole catalog of all of the boys. The First Time, with the vocals. Yeah. It's a kind of a song that stays in your head for a long time.
Well, that was Honest John's first composition.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a story behind that because when we were doing the first album, we just did it like drums and bass first, and rhythm guitar. So and then I would come on and just afterwards do lead guitar and all that, and then we'd sing the vocals. But when John, when we laid down the first track of the song, it was like jiggly jangly, it was like diggly dangly, diggly dangly. I was thinking, it's not going to fit on the album. So I got into the studio while John was, and dragged Jack the drummer over at the pub, while I was doing these, I did that rhythm, like Ramones, just jig it up and then suddenly I remember a roadie coming in, and hearing it going, oh, that's definitely the single.
Yeah.
And it could be, because it's really catchy.
It is.
But John wasn't pleased.
Oh, he wasn't? Okay.
Well, I only found out many years later because he was complaining that I ruined his song,
Really?
His guitar was taken off.
Oh, okay. So you ruined it.
But it wouldn't have gotten on the album if I had pumped it up.
The original way, yes, if you had. No,
in fact, he wrote most of his other songs in the same style.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. He learned from that. Well, and then one last one, Box Number. The guitar groove on that one reminds me of another song, and I can't put my finger on it, but it's from another band, and I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, it's just one of those that I can't.
Yeah,
I like the groove though. I like on that one.
I can't remember it here.
Okay.
Okay. But I might have. It's subconscious.
Right. A lot of times it is, and your influences will come out in your music. It's like you said, subconscious a lot of it. It's not deliberate. It's not. Yeah. I think, but I think what made you guys stand apart from other punk bands was your sense of melody and harmonies. And then also, I think there's enough variety with each song that no two songs sound alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's a good sign, definitely. And I know the Beatles, reading up on doing the research that the band has been called the Beatles of punk. And I think that's a pretty apt description.
I think that was mainly because of the harmonies.
Yes, the harmonies in there, and I don't think you would be offended if I said some of the tracks border on power pop.
Yeah.
So that's not a negative connotation at all, No, because of the harmonies, like you said. But this is when you kind of went off in a different direction. It kind of surprised me. Heroine from the second album.
Yeah.
Wow, where'd that come from? Nice ballad. Nice.
Yeah, it was Cass came up with a tune.
Yeah.
And I just did lyrics basically.
Yeah.
And we the first time we ever had a brass section.
Yes.
I forget who it was. I think it was like it was quite a well-known band that I'd seen at a show. And after the show, I said, "Oh, do you want me to come down and do a brass section on the track?" Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Really? Is that how that happened? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was a step in an unusual direction, I suppose.
It definitely was when you're used to those short, fast-paced songs. A lot of those, and you hear that. So it just showed the variety that you guys could go in that direction.
Yeah, but the title could be a bit confused because people thought it was about drugs.
Oh, that kind of
People who can't read.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Why
What
do you
was it?
a ballad about
And
drug?
I'm sure Lou Reed got that too back in the day. Well, TCP. I really like the guitar riff on that one.
Yeah. That's another genre as well.
Okay, yeah.
And I wrote the lyrics for it though. Because when he came into we were rehearsing, we tried new songs, And it's why it was good to have a 5-piece is we'd always have a kind of vote.
Yeah.
So there's never kind of like there's always a deciding vote. So there's never 2 against 2. So but that's how we chose songs or chose. But he came in with that song TCP, which I realised the riff and all that. But his lyrics were KGB, got it in for me or something. I don't know, it's just something. I keep trying to be political, So I suggested, because at that time, you know, John Knowles used to speak of TCP. I don't know if you know what TCP is.
No.
Oh, it's like a balm you put on when you get pimples.
Oh, okay.
It's,
No, we don't. I don't think we have that over. We don't have that here. I don't think.
You probably have it, but you call it something else.
Something else. Oh,
Because he always smelled of TCP.
uh-huh.
You know, because he was quite spotty. So
Oh,
I suggested like TCP, it cured my acne. You know,
uh-huh.
TCP, pimple free. And then Johnny Joe, Tommy D, TCP will cure your acne. You know, so.
Oh, well, why the move to Safari Records in '79?
Oh well, because we went on after the second album, you know, with Them's, you know, we, you know, there was we set up the tour to coincide with the release of the album.
Okay.
The album was delayed release, you know, until like I think the last day of the tour, the album was released. And so we'd wasted our times, you know, doing all these, you know, songs, you know. So we went on strike, which is a strange thing to do, a stupid thing to do. But so we were about 6 months. We, you know, just, you know, did other things.
Okay.
And weren't getting paid by NEMS, you know, which wasn't much anyway. But yeah, but in NEMS in the end, okay, let's go. So so then we, you know, we approached Safari and they said, yep, snapped us up.
Oh, okay. Well, what other bands? I think that's the first time I've heard of that label. What other bands were on Safari?
On Safari, Toya.
Oh, okay. Toya Wilcox. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it in terms of.
Okay. I hadn't really heard of that.
They were quite a small record company.
Okay, I gathered that. Well,
but we also, when we joined them, we'd already made To Hell with the Boys in Norway.
okay.
So the album really, because what we found through Cass was a studio which was new, and they invited us to come over and record an album for free, you know, because they wanted to get a name, you know,
yes,
a reputation, you know, so it didn't cost us anything to, you know, to make the album.
Oh, that's a plus, definitely.
Yeah, Safari didn't have to pay for us to go to the studio to make that album, so you know, it was a win-win situation.
Wow, and you said Norway.
Yeah.
Well, how was it there? How was it? Was that your first time to Norway over there?
No, we played in Norway.
You had played there before. Okay.
Did a tour there.
Oh, okay. How interesting. Well, did you like the studio?
Studio was great.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, some good fans there too.
Yeah.
Music fans. Well, on Safari, you'd have a little bit more prolific output, a couple of albums and five singles, I believe. But you mentioned you'd already To Hell with the Boys, you know, put that together. Your version of Saber Dance is every bit as good as Dave Edmunds, I think.
I just copied Dave
Edmunds. Is that what you did?
Okay. He didn't write it, you know. So.
Right. No. Who originally did that? It's a classical number, isn't it? It's I can't.
Yeah. He was the first rock and roll version of it.
Right.
It was a B-side, you know. I mean, it was kind of.
That's the thing. Yeah, it wasn't even the A. That's why I think. Thank goodness that a lot of the DJs flipped over the A side and played the B side. You know, in the past, because I prefer a lot of times B sides of singles. I like those better. So that's just me. But Terminal Love, we talked about that maybe before we started recording, but that's an all around great song. Just everything working well. Yeah, on that one. And then You Can't Hurt a Memory. Now here's where I can hear the Beatles' influence pretty strong, in particular John Lennon on the chorus vocals. Yeah, definitely hear John on that.
Yeah, I remember that, you know, because you know, I have to sing the verses.
Yeah.
Quietly, you know.
Yes.
Yes. And then, you know, screaming on the, you know, so we had to do like 2 takes, you know, sing the soft verses, you know, otherwise I stand back 2 meters. microphone for the chorus, you know. So yeah, it was done in 2 takes, 2 different things.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, we've got what's his name? Oh, harmonica blues, British blues player
Oh,
who died.
oh, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about now. Oh, yes, he's come up in another interview too. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sure.
anyway, he was playing in.
Okay. Okay.
We could ask him to drop in, but he says fine, he'd do it for a bottle of vodka, you know. There's some free
Yeah.
drink.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah. Well, a weekend, great single, but I also talking about B-side. Flip it over. I like cool. I like cool.
Cool, okay.
Yeah. 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 Now moving on to Boys Only from '81. At first, I didn't notice the album cover. I mean, I just thought it was spelled out, in stencil, but it's with human bodies, human figures.
Yeah, so
You remember the cover? Yeah, yeah. Doing this and yeah.
yeah, it was, I remember it was a real tedious photo shoot,
I can imagine. I can imagine.
It's just a simple idea we came up with, and
Yeah.
wish, you know.
Now, are you the one on the cover with the guitar? Is that you?
Yeah, we're all on the cover.
Okay. Okay. Well, the one that really stands out, you can tell it's a human is you. It's because you can see the guitar. The other ones you have to kind of look closer. Oh, that's actually a person. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's one of those. I like those kind of covers that you find a little bit more the more you look at it. Well, I like Poor Little Rich Girl. Yeah. Nice one. Nice track on there.
Yeah.
And then I like how the guitars are working 2 different riffs at the same time on Nothing Ventured. I like that one. Yeah. 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 And then one more, Satisfaction Guaranteed. To me, it's like a throwback to the early rock and roll, days. And that's a Jack Black track.
Yeah. One of his few. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's I like that sound. That's that early rock. Well, how did mirrors come into being? Mirrors.
What, sorry? Oh, the mirrors.
Yeah, the mirrors,
Just because, because I was invited to Norway again to the same studio, to make to record basically. So I roped up a few friends, like Phil Spalding on bass. He died recently. Blacklock. Yeah.
Yes. He played. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't happy with always having to sing.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't want to, and I never ever wanted to sing all the songs live. Because it'd be too much work. And Gear Wild on drums. So we went to, and it sounded good. So we did an album. Didn't do much.
Okay. Yeah.
Really, I don't think it was many people have.
Right. Well, you had that single Dance, Dance, Dance. Yeah.
That's right.
And an album. Yeah. And then like 5 years later, basically the same lineup with the management. Yeah.
Exactly. That's when that's the time when I bought a recording studio, in London, to a 24 track. So, so we did it there in my own studio. So we had all the time in the world.
Yeah. That's a good thing about having your own studio, like you said. You're not. There's no rush. You can work at it at your leisure. Well, back to the boys. After a hiatus of about 33 years, I guess, 2014's punk rock menopause.
Well, what brought us back together was, in about 2000, when we got, I used to get like calls from Italian, you know, company that's putting on a festival, a rock festival in Italy, and could the boys come along, or reform and come along? No thanks. But then we got an offer from Japan because it was something like our BBC sessions that the boys did were released, and they sold a lot in Japan.
Yeah.
And there was a famous Japanese band who covered two of our songs.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, so so we were suddenly kind of popular in Japan, and we thought none of us had ever been to Japan, so and I thought let's go for it. So that's why we reformed basically.
Oh, in Japan. Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, you played live there.
Yeah, we did a tour. Yeah, I think all in all we've done about 3 tours in Japan.
Okay. Okay. I've heard how I mean, wrapped up the fans are. They're just totally into the experience. The Japanese fans.
I think we were shocked, because I remember, the the manager saying, there's some people outside who want autographs and record signed and things. Say, okay, I think it's like half a dozen people or whatever, and there was a big queue around the block.
It was all the way around.
Go, oh bloody hell,
Right.
I even got, I even had the guy said, oh, please will you kiss my girlfriend?
Is that right?
Yeah. And I go, okay,
Give her a peck. Wow. Yeah, they are. They love Western music. So many over there. They really do. And you remember the Ventures, the instrumental U.S. band, Venture. Yeah. I talked to one guy, and he said that they went over there early, like '64, and he said that they just couldn't get enough of them. I mean, they just fell over themselves over the Ventures. And now, even today, there are many Venture cover bands in Japan.
Right.
Like the Tokyo Ventures. Whatever. Different cities have their own, ventures, and of course, you don't have the language barrier because it's instrumental. So, but they do. Yeah, I've just heard stories about how they go gaga over Western music over there. Even sitting, the fans will come out before when the band's just doing a sound check and whatever, and just sit there, and pay attention. Just really love it. So wow, that's interesting. Well, back to the punk rock menopause. Again, I like that title. I do like that title. How was that recording it, and were you happy with how it came out?
Oh yeah, very much so. Because we did it in the same way we're doing this album now, doing it in bits and pieces, not booking a studio for
Right.
Weeks, then having to finish everything. So we're doing it a bit at a time, just a couple of songs at a time. And it works fine. I mean, that's so it probably took 1.5 years to make that album, all in all. But it was probably only eventually like 1 month in the studio.
Okay.
So it was we had time to reflect on the songs and correct things. Because quite often when you record, you'll always have something. Oh, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd done that. You're never happy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still listen to the album and think, oh, I wish I'd done this.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
It never completely goes away.
Okay, you're not completely happy. Okay. Yeah, because you hear. Well, I think I would be like that too. But I talk to some musicians. It's about half and half. Some of them will say, well, no, I would never change anything because it was of that time, that period. So I don't ever go back. But then others will. I think I would be more of that school. Say, well, I could have done this, like you said, a little bit, tweaked it a little bit here, done this a little bit different. Yeah. So, well, so you don't know, you weren't aware of that maybe unauthorized album where there were a bunch of remade tracks. It looked like from earlier.
It might be the outtakes or whatever. Because we've had so many. We had so many re-releases in years. It's like especially vinyl.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
special pink vinyl, and
Yeah. Yes.
So I've lost track of all that, but
Okay.
it's not an official album, put it that way.
It's
But
not.
there are many other outtakes.
Okay.
Because we've got loads of stuff we never released.
Yeah.
So
There's still a lot in the vaults. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's all pretty much out there now.
Okay. All right. Well, for this album, the Punk Rock Menopause, you had core members back, you, Casino, and Honest John. Who else was on the recording?
On the
Menopause. Yeah.
Sid, me, John, and Cass, I think.
Okay, just the three of you. Okay.
Yeah, but we had a drummer,
Okay.
Swedish, who's still in it now.
Okay.
And, we had there's various bass players. I played some of the bass as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to ask you, getting back together after all those years, was it just like yesterday? Just like getting back on the bicycle?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys hadn't lost a step. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we just picked it up yesterday.
Just picked it right back up again. Yeah. I talked to some where they said, oh, we had to like rehearse and practice so much more because they had gotten a little rusty. So that's great. That's great to hear that. Well, talk about a little bit about, you just mentioned, the colored vinyl and things like that. Some of the other newer releases that have come out recently.
Oh, I lost track.
There's
and it's not of great interest to me, to be honest.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I can definitely understand that. Yeah. Well, sad to don't want to really end it on a sad note, but sad to hear the passing of Honest John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, it was expected.
How old was he? Can I ask?
I think he was about 72.
Okay. All right.
But none of us thought we'd lived.
Right. That lifestyle. That lifestyle. Well, you guys are doing something right then.
Yeah.
You kind of cleaned up, right?
Yeah.
Do you exercise these days?
Not particularly. I like walking.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's always a good thing. You can just, you can walk, and everything.
Yeah.
You're not out to run the Boston Marathon or anything like that, but at least, yeah. Well, what about your diet? Is it pretty pretty healthy?
Yeah. I eat everything.
Yeah.
I was a vegetarian briefly.
Oh, okay.
When the band started, and I remember, the places to eat were always on the motorway cafes,
Yeah.
And there's no vegetarian menus in those days,
No.
I just realised after a couple of weeks that, I'm just eating egg and chips all the time, as I went back to eating meat again,
Yes. Oh man, I tell my wife all the time. I said I can never be a vegetarian. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I love my meat too much. I love it.
We've got meaty teeth, so
right.
we'll built to eat meat.
Right. We were built exactly. So why not, right? You're going against nature there if you're not a meat eater.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, get up to date. You did mention before we started about recording a new album.
Yep.
You said you're about halfway.
Yep.
Okay.
But we always like to do more than we need for an album. So we've always done that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to. We make sure that we're all happy with those tracks.
Yes.
I mean, the other tracks can always end up on outtakes,
Right.
vinyl, and all that.
Right.
because people are sometimes surprised at the tracks that we didn't use. Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Because we had better. You know,
There you go. There you go. I think it's better to have like you said, a bigger assortment to choose from.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then you can pick and choose the top tracks that you're happy with. All right. Well, how about playing live? You guys have any plans, or are you playing live?
Yeah. We we haven't played live since January this year, but we're going to next month. We're going to Portugal to play a festival, and then we're doing a tour of Italy in September, and we might. It looks like we're going to Canada next year in March.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
But no plans for the States. Huh?
no,
Yeah.
you know why?
Yes. We haven't even touched on that, but yeah.
Because we've also been invited to do South America as well, which we probably will do.
Okay. All right.
Because we've played there before, and it's a favorite.
Wow. Okay. And they have some really nice fans there too. Yeah. They really do. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I should have thought about that before I asked. Yeah, about it coming here. Well, back in the day, though, did you ever you toured the States, right?
Never toured. We
You
played
never
there.
came over here. Okay.
Played there, like just one-off. So.
Oh, like New York. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, not an actual tour. Okay. Yeah, because I know you didn't come down here. Yeah, I knew that. Okay, all right. Well, that sounds good. And then you've got your UK base there that you can play some shows there. I assume. Yeah.
Not very often. It's probably my least favorite place to play.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because just because I've done it too often. Put it that way.
Okay.
And also, I have too many friends, and friends come along to see you, and you never have enough time to kind of chat with them, because you're working,
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
so it's like, I prefer playing abroad, put it that way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, those are some interesting countries too. Yeah. How about Holland?
It's a long time since we played. In Holland was one of the first countries to kind of pick up on punk a bit, so
Yeah.
a lot early on,
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'll just say this real quick about Holland. I've talked to so many, and they were earlier, probably in the late '60s, early '70s, in their heyday. But they said they would, from the UK, play Holland, and they were just big fans of their music, and then go back to the UK, walk down the street, nobody knew them.
Yeah.
They were bigger in Holland than they were.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Holland always seems to be quite open to anything new. So.
yeah, they do. They have that kind of outlook or whatever it is there. Yeah.
I remember playing the Paradiso.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that. Yes.
At a time of when everybody was spitting at bands.
Yeah.
They thought that was what it was about.
Yes.
Because somebody in the music paper had said this is what happens at punk gigs, spitting.
Yeah.
They'd all read this, So I remember there was we were playing, and all night this guy was spitting at me.
Yeah.
That was like just so annoying. And then after gig, we were out in the town just going through a few bars, and then we bumped into him. And he came up to say hello, and I said, "Why were you spitting at me all night?" He goes, "Because you're my favourite."
Yeah. What could you show your appreciation in a different way, right? Wow. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I talked to Steve Diggle, Buzzcocks. Yeah, and he talked about. I don't think it was him who talked about it. Somebody else that I talked to also, was saying, what Pete Shelley, when he would play and he was just drenched in the spit. Yeah. And just, having to get through that. That's wild.
Well, you found they ran out of spit. They kind of dried up,
Exactly.
So you just have to be patient.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, you get through that early on in the rest of the show. You're spit free, right? Spit free. All right. Well, I want to thank you a lot, very much for doing this. And
It's enjoyable.
Matt, and nice to go back and kind of recall those, memories. And I like to say, go back in the time machine. So yeah, and so it's again, thank you. I will get you a copy of this probably about a week, or I'll send it to your agent. I'll send it.
Steve.
Or do you want a copy personally? I mean, it's up to you.
No, send it to Steve.
Okay. And then he'll set that up and have it posted, and then it'll be on my channel, as well. So
Okay. All right. Okay.
all right. All the best to you, Matt, and we'll be in touch and do. Well, I guess I'll hear from you one way or the other about any updates and new album and things like that. So
yeah, Steve will let you know.
Steve will let me know. Okay. All right. Well, say hi to him, and I'll also email him back.
Okay, great.
Thanks for setting this up. All right. Well,
okay.
You have a good rest of the weekend. Well, it's almost over for you, isn't it? Yeah, 12. Yeah, 6 hours difference. Okay. Well, you have a good week upcoming, and again, thanks again.
Okay. Thank you.